things have changed so quickly from the time you and I were kids. I mean, when you and I were kids, it was
completely.
Russia. Everybody was worried about going to war with Russia.
Right.
And then when the fall of the Soviet Union, there was just like, this calm that went through the whole country.
The breath, yes.
And I thought we were done.
Yeah.
I thought, we're done with all this. This is great.
Yeah.
We figured this out.
Yeah.
But no.
Well, that's why I wonder where are the call for leaders? You know what I mean? Like where? I mean, it's a big question, but
well, nobody really wants to be president. It's fucking they crawl up your ass with a microscope.
Dude,
it's not fun. They've talked about you being president.
Dude, I know.
I remember at one point in time it was like they were saying it should be The Rock and Oprah. They should be president and vice president.
Dude, so one of the parties came to visit me.
Oh no!
At the end of last year, asking for me to run.
Oh Jesus Christ!
I mean, it was
for president.
For president.
Wow!
It was first of all incredibly fucking surreal.
Right.
Because I was the guy, you know, who was wrestling in flea markets years ago, looking for free corn dogs and hot dogs and shit, selling my headshots for $5, trying to make money, and then all of a sudden I'm having that conversation. But no, it was just incredibly surreal and so wild, but also so incredible that they had all this data that they had said, if this happens, here's the result. And,
wow!
And it was really fucking deep. And then I started to think again. Surreal, because that's never been my goal, right? I appreciate it, and I'm fucking honored, right? Because I'm like you in here, in our core, right? But it made me think it's either this is an incredible thing, and I got some pretty decent leadership skills, or things are so fucked up.
They're turned into the pro wrestler movie star. They try to run the world,
man. But who are those, leaders, whether president or not? But I wait for, as it relates to the conflict over there, like who's not necessarily step up, but just information. As you were talking about, we live in this time with incredible technology and communicate so fast, and you could be as open as your aperture stretches out to be, and you could get as much information as you can. So where are those people who are going to?
They don't want to be president. They're running their own lives, and they're looking on the sideline and wishing that someone with real leadership skills and real wisdom and real empathy and a real moral compass, who's not governed entirely by money.
Well, you just said it. I mean, those things, empathy.
Yeah.
Those kind of qualities, integrity.
Yeah.
But especially the empathy part.
Yeah.
And looking at everything as open.
Yeah. But if you're a person that has empathy, how do you conduct a drone strike where you know that a certain amount of civilians 100% are going to die, but you know that a terrorist might be in this apartment building? How do you greenlight that? Because you kind of have to if you want to get rid of this terrorist. I mean, but we know the consequences of drone strikes. There's some insane number of people that are innocent civilians that get killed. It's hard. It's been explained to me by my friends in the military that it's very difficult to know the truth because oftentimes
in terms of what, brother?
You get lies from either side. Look, for sure, 100% for sure.
Truth in terms of the reasons for the orders that they came
Not
in.
just the reason for the orders, but the amount of people that died that were innocent. But for sure, innocent people die. The question is how many of them. When they say they bombed a wedding party, that's real. That's happened. Like thousands of people have died that way all over the world.
Yeah.
Whether it's in Yemen or wherever they're conducting bombing raids, there have been many people that have not been a target that were killed.
Yeah.
But what are those numbers? And what's the reality of it? Because if you're on that side that get bombed, you might put out a press information. You might put out something that says 1,000 innocent civilians and they bombed a children's hospital. Yeah. But the reality might be it was actually 20 insurgents and 50 civilians. Like, we don't really know what the real numbers are unless you're on the ground doing a census. Like, I don't know if we get accurate information from either side.
Yeah.
But if you're a president, you have to deal with that horrible reality that if you do an action, if there's some sort of a military action that has to be taking place, particularly like a drone bombing in a civilian area, you're going to kill some innocent people. Yeah. That is a crazy thing to have on your conscience. if you have a moral compass. It's great. And what are the options? To risk our service members and have them go in there and get gunned down and blown up and lose 50% of them because you didn't want to kill the same number of innocent civilians? Like, and then you get into that conversation. It's like, what's the solution there? Right?
Yeah.
Other than we shouldn't be at war with anybody, and we should figure out a way to stop this
before that happens.
Yes. All over the world.
Right. Because usually you could kind of see it coming down the road.
Yeah.
Right? You could see the scenario happening coming down the road. So maybe the ability to strategically get in, have the conversations you have to have before it actually gets to that
before
point.
It escalates to the point of like extreme violence.
Right.
But some people want extreme violence, and that's the Eisenhower speech when he left office, that there's a military-industrial complex that wants us to go to war. They profit off war. And they can, if they're the people that are funding political campaigns and they have massive amounts of money that they're using as influence, they can make certain politicians make decisions that are not in the best interests of the United States or the people that are the citizens. They can do things entirely to make money. Like you see it, and you see like the amount of money that's involved in something like Ukraine, whether or not you're pro us helping Ukraine or not. Where did we come up with all that money, and why don't we have that money to fix America? There was one point in time, we talked about this, where there was $6 billion they accidentally paid to Ukraine. They overpaid them $6 billion. Well, that's the exact amount of money it would take to rebuild every single house in Maui.
Exactly.
Yeah, and no discussion about that at all. Instead, the Maui people get $700, a one-time payment, which is insane. What are we? Are we a community or are we not? If we have the money to donate to some guy who is a fucking, literally used to be a stand-up comedian who used to play piano with his dick. That's Zelensky. He did a thing. There's a video of him playing piano with his dick. It was like one of his routines.
Wow.
He was a comedian, and he played a character on a television show.
Zelensky was a comedian?
Yes. Zelensky was a comedian. And he played a character of a regular guy who becomes the president. I forget what his job was in real life. But he becomes the president and then ran for president in real life and became president. And we're just sending this guy billions and billions and billions of dollars. And some of it is just like, where is it all going? Like, do we have an accurate account of, like, who is anybody siphoning this? Like, we know that there's massive amounts of corruption all over the world when it comes to this kind of stuff. Like, where's that money going?
Yeah.
This is nuts.
Yeah.
Why don't we have that money to fix inner cities? Why don't we have that money for infrastructure? Why don't we have that money for the school system?
Inner cities.
Yeah.
Homeless.
Yeah.